Hello everyone, welcome to the 7th edition of 3 Easy Extreme Demons. This is the series where I go through 3 low-end extreme demons and give you guys some tips and tricks on how to beat them. Last episode, I covered the Flawless, Phenom, and Black Lights. And in this episode, I'm going to be covering 3 new extreme demons. This episode, there actually will be a theme for the 3 extreme demons. They're all going to be bright extreme demons. The first one is going to be bright in terms of its effects, and the last one is going to be bright in terms of its decoration. Anyways, without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, hello. The first extreme we have up right now is Firepower by Capista999, I believe that's pronounced. Now, this level is a flow extreme, so if you're into flow extremes, I'd actually highly recommend this one. There's not much for me to say right now, so I'm just gonna get into the tutorial and not waste your guys' time. The beginning of Firepower isn't really that hard. It has some pretty unique gameplay in terms of being sync gameplay, but that doesn't occur at this first cube part. I'm gonna be real, this first cube part's just pretty boring. Something I kinda disliked about Firepower was that the beginning just felt very strange, if that makes sense. I don't know, it just felt much more awkward than the drop part, especially like this ball part and the spider part that comes right after this. It just felt very awkward. But for the most part, if you follow your clicks to the song, you should have a pretty good grasp on how to just play these first few parts. You can actually get away with buffering a lot of the spider inputs here, so just keep in mind which inputs you can and can't buffer. Right here at this upcoming black orb, you can just hold and save yourself an extra click. I don't know if you have to click twice there, but that's just what I did. Going into the drop, you just want to buffer the first 2 inputs, and then from here, it's just pretty much just clicking to the song. Right here, actually, you can skip an input after you hit those 2 spider clicks. After the black orb, you can just hold. I don't know if you're meant to do that because it actually syncs better to the song if you click instead of holding, but if you hold, you can actually jump up there as the cue, which I found to be better. Make sure you buffer the first input into this duel or else you will die like that, which kind of sucks, but not much I can do about it. This duel part, like I said, is basically just clicking to the song, so there's not much for me to give right here. At this part of the duel right here, if you're into music theory or music at all, just click to the tempo of the song right here, because that is the most useful thing you can do. Alright, this is the second half of the level, which I found personally to be much more hard and learny than the first half. This part's not that bad since you just hold buffer a lot of inputs. And right here, it wants you to do a click pattern like that. But if you go back and just hold this yellow orb right here, you can actually skip all those inputs, so you don't really have to do those. Something I did forget to mention, and keep this in mind for the first part of the ship, you have to do an extra click right here just to make sure you're aligned for the correct part, because there's a similar click at the first part of the ship. So make sure you're doing that to both of the parts of the ship. And then for some reason, after this black orb right here, you just have to tap again, because if you hold, you die. I don't understand why it's like that, but it is. And then right here, this is the very ending. These last few clicks are kind of awkward, but they're still not that bad. And make sure you click this red orb really early. Not too early, but you can click it very early and survive. But yeah, that was Firepower. Because I won't have enough time to put a final thoughts at the end of the video, I'm just gonna give my final thoughts right now. So in terms of enjoyment, I gave Firepower a 9 out of 10. I was able to beat this level pretty quick just because it's a low-end extreme demon, but I did find the flow gameplay really fun. I don't typically find flow gameplay fun, and that's just because I have a different definition of flow to what other people might have. I think of flow as more that it's kind of like this, where you pretty much don't know what's happening and rely on clicking to the song, because I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know what's happening at the duel section at like 50. I just click to the song and it works. When it comes to like different types of gameplay, like Shukufuku for example, I don't think of that as a flow level just because I can tell what's happening on my screen. Like, it's click sync. I consider it more of a click sync level, if that makes sense. But enough of that tangent. With Firepower, I really just did enjoy the flow gameplay of it. In terms of the decoration though, I gave it a 7 out of 10. I really do like the style, but I think it was just a little too much for me. I get that it's 2.2, but I think it overdid the effects a bit. Anyways, yeah, that was Firepower.
No! No!
What just happened?
Probably died at the end of the level.
I got the last
What? That's bullshit! Wait, no!
What did you do?
Oh, it fucking sucks.
glad that all that's going into completion attempt.
GG.
Robert game.
Robert game.
Oh, didn't count on it. Alright, the next level up is Prismatic by CatGeo. This is a pretty long and very low-end extreme demon, and in my opinion, it has a very deceptive difficulty. It looks really, really easy, but once you play it, you actually can see how awkward and kind of weird it is. But nonetheless, it still is a pretty easy extreme. Once again, I'm not going to waste your time. Let's go into the tutorial. The beginning of Prismatic kind of reminds me of CatGeo, where it starts off with a wave that is kind of hard compared to the rest of the level. This wave part though isn't really that bad. It's a bit spammy, but if you can find your own click pattern, you get really used to it, so you pretty much never die here. And this ship part right here, it's not really that bad. Yeah, there's just a random red orb right there. I think there's a random black orb in one of the later parts too. And then this cube part right here, it's not really that bad. There are just a few awkward clicks, which made it kind of weird to pass. Make sure you're hitting this black orb very late, because if you hit it too early, you'll hit this saw blade right here. So make sure you're hitting that black orb really late. And I don't know if you can tell just by looking, but some of these timings are very awkward and they feel inconsistent, and I don't know why. This ball part right here though is very easy. Like, you shouldn't die here. All right, right here is the hardest part of the level in my opinion, this dual part. This dual part is very weird. You kind of just want to hit both of these orbs right here in the middle and then hit that like that, if that makes sense. It's kind of strange, but it's not too bad. Yeah, and then you should have something like that. And then you hold, but not for too long as the robot, and then click that like that. And then once you pass this duel, this spider part's really awkward. I died here a lot, and I don't know why. And there's a random double click here, which I didn't understand. This robot part isn't that bad, but this click right here is very awkward. Right here, it wants you to do 2 clicks, but not a double click. So it wants you to hit this red orb, and then hit the pink orb pretty late. I found that click to be pretty awkward, and I actually died there a lot, but the click isn't that bad if you know what you're doing. These two right here, however, is a double click. You just want to click it a bit late. And in my opinion, this part right here is the far point of the level. This entire cube section right here is one of the most awkward things I've played recently, and it's just because the timings are so specific. I mean, of course, because they're timings, but these timings feel more specific than most timings that I'm used to. And then right here is the swing copter. I should state it right now, but this is my first 2.2 extreme, because I beat this before I beat firepower. This wave part right here isn't that bad. Just make sure you're controlling your clicking. I pretty much say this once per 3 easy extremes, but make sure you're controlling your wave. If you start spamming, things may get inconsistent for you, so try not to spam when you try to do this. This level is pretty long, by the way. It's around 2.5 minutes long. This part right here, it looks like it would be the hardest part, but this part's actually pretty easy once you know what you're doing. It's not that bad. There's not even, like, in my opinion, a single awkward click. The spider part right here though, ugh. The spider part was annoying from zero. I died here quite a lot. In my opinion, the remainder of these parts are pretty easy. Once you get to 80, you have a high likelihood of fluking it unless you have bad nerve control or are just generally unlucky. Right here is the last double click, just so you know, at the very ending. There's only 3 double clicks in this level. This last robot part is pretty stressful. If you practice this part enough times, you shouldn't have a nerve death here. Every death you have here is just a skill issue death, I'd say. But yeah, that was the ending of Prismatic. All right, in terms of enjoyment, I gave Prismatic an 8 out of 10. This level was actually really fun, and it did its gameplay style really well. The one problem I did have with it though is, like I said the entire video, it was very awkward. I also had pretty good luck on this level, so there's not much for me to complain about. And in terms of decoration, I gave the level a 6 out of 10. I always say this, but I really do love the modern look. Like, I love all modern style levels. This level, however, had some parts that didn't look that good at all, but it also had some parts that looked really good, just like this ending part. So that's why I gave it a 6 out of 10, just because it had a lot of parts I didn't personally like. Anyways, yeah, that was Prismatic.
fallen this far? Holy shit.
I beat it finally. Oh my god, that took so long.
Let's go! Let's go!
Fucking hell.
Easy.
Dude, you guys don't understand
I know,
how
that's a lot
long
of
each
movement.
attempt of these take. Alright, and the last level of the day is Verisimilitude by whlt. This level is really cool. It's kind of like a memory level. I would consider it a memory level. This level is sick. I really like the way it looks and the gameplay was pretty cool. I'm not going to waste your time though, let's get into the tutorial. The beginning of Verisimilitude is a spider part that is very strange. As you can see right here, a lot of this is just knowing where to go. I've personally never really done a tutorial on a memory level before, so I'm not really used to this. But if you really want to know what to do in this level, like all my completions, I link them in the description below with clicks, so you can actually see where to go and the click patterns that you have to do. So make sure you're checking that out if you want to just fully learn the click pattern of this level, because it's kind of a strange click pattern, but it's still really fun. This ship part right here is pretty awkward, but you can hold after a lot of these inputs. You just got to know when to release and click again. For example, after this blue orb, you click, hold, release, click. Something like that. Yeah, you can get away with holding a lot of the inputs in this part. Just make sure you're not over clicking is basically what I'm trying to say. This might take a lot of practicing though, just because this level's pretty learny. Like, even though like the ship and this UFO part seem really linear, trust me, they're very learny, and you want to practice them a lot. This level somehow makes the non-memory parts of the level just very learny, and that's something I actually commend. A lot of the ship parts in this level though is clicking and holding, so make sure you're just getting used to that. And then right here is the ball part, which in my opinion is the hardest part of the level. I somehow fluked this ball part, and I don't know how. Anyways, this ball part is really hard, and I definitely recommend over practicing it, because if you don't, you're gonna die here a lot and it's gonna suck. This ball part also has some pretty bad timings in my opinion, so there's that to look forward to. Right here, don't be like intimidated by how hard it looks, because a lot of these blocks right here in the structure are fake. So you don't have to like do any specific timings like that. You just have to click like that. And then you have these last two double spikes to the end, which aren't that hard. And then you have this last two clicks, which are really funny, but they're really easy. You just hold after doing this last click and then click twice. All right, that was Verisimilitude. There wasn't much tips for me to give, so sorry in advance for that. But yeah, in terms of enjoyment, I gave Verisimilitude an 8 out of 10. I beat this level really quickly and I found the gameplay really enjoyable. The ball part at the end completely kind of ruined the level for me though. It's just that ball part just seemed like such a major choke point and I didn't enjoy it that much. And in terms of decoration, I gave it an 8 out of 10 as well. This decoration was pretty good. There were some drawbacks for me just because I thought some of the transitions looked weird, but other than that, the block deco and everything else was really good. Anyways, that's all I have to say about Verisimilitude. Wow.
Okay.
I flipped the ball.
Hacker.
What? Okay.
Hacker. That's stupid.
That was incredibly quick. I think that's the fastest I've beaten in Extreme.